And Shabbat Shalom, welcome back to here to Light to the Nations. It's a blessing to us to be once again studying. Why are you laughing?
Because I have my nose red and I
That's
can see
true.
it.
You know, she got a punch in her guts, but it wasn't me. It was a ruach.
Yeah,
It
and
was a
it was
ruach
nice.
even before we
Yeah.
stand. That's why she's having a red nose.
Yeah.
So it's such a blessing to be once again with you in this Shabbat. You know, we have been always sharing this with you that our heart is like this, big
Yeah.
in our chest, because we have the opportunity to share the word of YaHuWaH with all of you and to have this amazing family out there in different places in this world that somehow we are being connected through the Ruach of YaHuWaH, through the Ruach of Elohim, and with the love of Yahushua within us. So, you know, welcome all of you here to this gathering. I see many of you, and we were so happy to see also Arthur and Cornelia in the chat. Yeah, true. I see Constance as well with us. I see, you know, Christine, Camila, Beetlejuice, and Yaya. It's a blessing to have all of you here with us.
Yeah.
You know, as you can see in the background, we are back home, you know, after the two intensive week in our second visit to the USA. We just got back here yesterday morning, 6:30 a.m.
Yeah. So if you see the trace of the bad sleep in the plane.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it was so intensive, especially the last week, is that I don't know if it's happening to you, but for me, it's like I'm looking back, and it was like a dream.
Yeah. No.
But it was a real thing, and it was so beautiful to have the opportunity to meet with some of you. You know, I think from beginning to end, we saw the hand of YaHuWaH with us, connecting everything in such a beautiful way, confirming His word, everything that He has put in our hearts. And, you know, sometimes we believe that we are doing things. Sometimes we believe that we are making mistakes even. But even in those things that we believe we are doing it, even in those mistakes that we believe we are making, He's the one, you know, behind the scene, in control of everything. And I can tell you, you know, mistakes that some people did that they believed it was a mistake, it was even the hand of YaHuWaH to confirm something to us in our heart. And I don't know, even changes in the schedule. It was the hand of YaHuWaH doing it. So it's so beautiful, you know, the discussions and the sharing about the Ruach, and to see how the Ruach is connecting us in these times, preparing us for the next phase of what YaHuWaH has preparing for this generation of the remnant. So we need to have that heart, right? We need to have that heart in preparation to what He's bringing to us. Yes?
Yeah. And we were talking about that and seeing the hand of our Abba with so much love in every situation. Then it brings us, like, I don't know, it was so nice to understand that even our past life is like, everything has a purpose. Because
Absolutely.
then we can understand and see His truth with a different perspective. So that's nice.
And you know, He continues doing things. You know, He has been revealing to us so beautiful things as part of this trip, and even yesterday and today. You know, it's just to have our mind blowing up because of what He's doing. So we need to continue in prayers. We need to continue seeking His face. We need to continue pushing forward because He's preparing us. He's preparing this remnant of the children of Israel that is you, is us, is all of us, to fulfill our duty, the duty He has been calling us in these times, and we need to prepare completely ourselves to do so. It's not going to be easy, you know. Being a servant is a difficult thing. You know, I can tell you because I saw it my entire life being pastor kid. I know what it means to be a servant. And all of us, we have been called by YaHuWaH to be a servant to him. And that's why we are going through difficulties. That's why we are going through trials, because that's the way that he's testing our hearts to see if we are faithful to him.
If we trust him.
And he is even teaching us even more truth through the trials and tribulations. So we need to keep our eyes on him only, not in the difficulties we are going through. We need to keep our eyes in YaHuWaH and to understand what he wants from us through those situations, trials and tribulations. So it's the heart of the servant. It's not going to be easy. Be ready for that. But it's beautiful that it's not easy, because it's a confirmation that he is with you, he is with us. So today what we're going to read?
We are going to read the Parsha that is named Re. That means sea.
And it's going from the book of Devarim, chapter 11, verse 26.
11.
Yes.
11:26, yeah.
26.
Yeah.
And going to the chapter 16, verse 17, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so good. We're gonna study. We just read it. The passage. Actually, you did. You had more time to prepare it. So most probably you will have more things to share than me.
No, maybe a little.
But we will see what the Ruach is bringing to the study, as we always do. You know, sometimes I don't like to do it. I feel I don't know. It's not easy to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, we have the chance to share with those of you that we have those beautiful moments with each one of you, singing to YaHuWaH. And actually, you know, I was meditating on this this morning. I didn't tell you about it, but this visit we did to the USA. It began with the hand of YaHuWaH in a so beautiful way. And I think it's not coincidence. Nothing is coincidence in the way of YaHuWaH. You know, it was a divine encounter, if we want to say so. And the words of the messenger that YaHuWaH sent to us in the first day of our visit now are even more relevant.
Yeah.
Is to be strong in his way, that problems will arise, but we need to keep strong and keep pushing forward in his kingdom and to stay ahead and to stay strong in the word. That was the lyrics somehow, the song that this messenger that appeared just suddenly in our way brought to us.
And his name is Fernando.
And his name is
he
Fernando.
was asking if we could pray for him because he has a very severe disease with his kidneys. And he was asking to be included in our prayers. So,
So we need to pray for him. Yeah. And it was so beautiful that put him even before visiting some of you. That was the first thing. It was the triggering, the starting point. I was saying, you came to do something, do it. I'm with you, no matter what's going on. I'm with you both.
Yeah.
So you know, we are storing all those treasures that YaHuWaH gave us with this, with meeting each one of you. You know, seeing the face of the Karen, Corina, Betsy, Ron, everybody, Dennis, Debbie, Annie, you know, and Christine. You know, Yaya, it was so beautiful to see you, sister. Also your brother Rick and Cindy. I saw the hand of YaHuWaH doing marvelous things. Just with the fact of being obedient, he began opening the door, and you, each one of you, I think was witness for each one of those encounters. Even Susan, you know what happened with you, dear sister, and your son. You know, this is something that we have stored in our heart. Is the Ruach of Elohim moving us, all of us. So no, you know what happened in Minneapolis with the Chance, Priscilla, and Mary was so beautiful as well.
In the house of Monica.
In the house of Monica, with all this gathering, with, you know, studying until almost 5 a.m. This is YaHuWaH connecting us all. It's it's giving us the opportunity to open our eyes to see what he wants from us, from his people. We need to remember. We need to remember what YaHuWaH is doing, what has been doing for us our entire life. To remember, to bring to our memories those images of what YaHuWaH has done for each one of us, and to have the expectation that the same thing that he did for us in the past, he's going to do it in the present time and also in the future. So this is exactly what he's looking for us, for his people. So, we were singing all over the place, and meeting this person, Fernando, was a messenger from YaHuWaH, was, during one of the blessings that Abba gave us to get a guitar in the United States.
And the most, I think, who enjoyed the guitar, it was Camila's dog. Remember at the end?
I remember.
They were like sleeping like babies.
But Annie was enjoying the guitar as well, because she was playing the guitar in Karen's house, also in D&D house. So I think all of us enjoyed that beautiful gift from YaHuWaH, that came with that marvelous message from the messenger he used, that was Fernando. So what I'm gonna do? I have a song, like we always do, but I think I'm gonna sing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing a little bit.
Okay, so
and we're going to share at least 2 of the songs that we were singing on the trip in each one of the places. So let me put things in order. I need to connect the other microphone and the guitar. So just give me a second. It's gonna be a little bit messy for a bit, but let me see how it goes.
it's like that.
Yeah. Just be patient with me. So Lillian said that she's not gonna sing.
I'm going to.
It's for me to sing only.
Yeah.
But actually, she was singing with me on the trip, so I think she have to do it as well. So let me do something here. Okay. So please let me know in the comment if you are able to hear me, and if you are able to hear the guitar as well. Okay. Yeah, just give me a second. I need to put the earphones. So it's gonna be much easier for me. Sound great? Okay. Sound great. Good. So let me put a little bit of effect. Okay. And you can hear actually from here, right? Okay, good. So let me, everything is good. Perfect. We can hear the guitar. Perfect. Okay, so we are all set. So the first one we're gonna sing. All of you know this one. You were expecting me to sing this one.
So you're going to pay your debt.
So I'm gonna pay my debt. I was singing this one also in each one of the places. So you need to sing with me, okay? That's what we're gonna do. Just give me a second on this one. Yes. Okay. Perfect. So I'm gonna sing in Spanish, so what's the song I'm gonna sing. And actually, I remember the Karen saying, and you will remember, sister, that this should be the way that we are always starting the study on Shabbat. So today we're gonna begin the study in the way that you told me. So let's do it. Okay. te bendiga y te guarde. YaHuWaH haga resplandecer tu rostro en ti y tenga de ti compasión. YaHuWaH alce su rostro sobre ti y te dé paz, te dé paz, te dé paz, te dé paz, te dé paz. I think we sang this one all over the place, right? You know what is it? It's the blessing, you know. This is the version from Joshua Aaron, and I feel something so beautiful every time when I sing the chorus of this one. So let's see how it goes. Using the voice, the vocal cords. Yevarecha YaHuWaH veishmerecha, Yaher YaHuWaH panav elecha vichuneka, Yisa YaHuWaH panav elecha וישם לך שלום. יברכך YaHuWaH וישמרך, יאר YaHuWaH פניו אליך vichuneka, Yisa YaHuWaH panav elecha, ישם לך שלום. אמן, אמן, Amen. Come and see where he lays. Hear the angels saying, do not be afraid. He's not here, he is risen. Hallelujah. Come and see where he lays. Hear the angels saying, do not be afraid. It's not here, he is risen. Hallelujah. Come and see where he lays. Hear the angels saying, do not be afraid. He's not here, he is risen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Bonito. One more? After again? Okay. So that's it. So let me, we have, as I said, we have a song prepared as well. So let me put the song and we're going to begin the study after this one. Okay? So here we go.
לדור ודור הודיע אמונתך בפי, אמונתך בפי. יסדתם צפון וימין, אתה ורעתם תבוא
So it's so beautiful to, use our voice to praise Him, to pray to Him, to worship YaHuWaH. As I saw somebody put in the chat, is that, through our ears is how we can connect to that special place of getting close to Him. So, I will invite you, though I'm going to pray as we always do, that you pray together with us. Most probably you are in your house, listening and watching this broadcast.
But if you need to say something.
But use your voice. Use the instrument that YaHuWaH gave you here, in order to pray together in one mind. Asking Him to guide us in this study, that inviting His presence to be among us. So let's pray together. YaHuWaH Elohim, we want to come before you, YaHuWaH, with a humble heart, with a heart beating with the desire to serve you, to seek your face. Oh YaHuWaH Elohim, you are the reason of our life. Without you, we are nothing. And it's only in you that we find fullness of life. Thank you for restoring your truth in your people in these times. Thank you for your compassion and your love for your remnant. Because it's only you, the one who has done everything in our lives. You are the one that woke us up into your truth. And you did it in such a beautiful way that our mind cannot comprehend how you did it. You just took the veil of our understanding and our eyes in order to see your truth, the truth of your word. And you have guiding us in every step of your way. We want to serve you with all our hearts, and we want to worship you in Ruach and in truth. We invite you, Abba, that you can be among us with your presence. Because without your presence, we don't want to move. We need your presence, Abba, to guide us, to be among us, in order to be fully equipped to serve you, to do what you have calling us to do. Abba, I pray for your people in this moment. You can touch our hearts. You can guide us in these last days, in your will and the desire of your heart. You can continue open our understanding to know what you want from us. That you can heal the sick. That you can heal the brokenhearted. That you can guide us in the truth of your word. And in the manifestation of your Ruach HaKodesh in our lives. We want to serve you, and we want to tell you, YaHuWaH, that we are here, ready to answer your calling, ready to take the lead, not wasting more time. To the contrary, to take the lead of what you have been calling us to do in these times. Guide us in the study today, YaHuWaH. Increase our emunah, our belief, our faith in your word. Increase the love of Yahushua, your Son, in our hearts, so we can be echad in you, that your remnant can be echad in this time. We love you with all our hearts, and we praise your name, and we acknowledge that you are the only true Elohim, the creator of the heavens and the earth. We wait on you continually, and we know that you are with us. Guide us, protect us, give us of your tools and your weapons to fight the spiritual battle that we are fighting in these times. We love you, and we praise your name. And we raise our voices to you in this moment as an ascending offering before your throne. And we do it in the mighty name of your Son, YaHuWaH HaMashiach, our King. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, let's begin. Let's go to the Parsha in 60 seconds.
Okay.
Shalom and welcome to Parsha in 60 seconds. Today's portion is from Deuteronomy 11:26, 16, 17. It's called Rieh, which means see. Moses explains the blessings and curses in regards to obeying the law. When God brings them into the land, they are to pronounce the blessings at Mount Gerizim and the curses at Mount Ebal. The Israelites were warned that sacrifice locations were only established by God, and they could eat meat as long as they did not consume the blood. Moses instructed that if a prophet appeared before the Israelites and gave them a sign and urged them to worship another god, they were not to heed the words of the prophet, but put the offender to death. Gashing oneself or shaving the front of the head because of the dead was prohibited. Moses prohibited the eating of animals that did not have cleft hooves and shoes cut. The Israelites could eat anything that had fins and scales, but nothing else. Birds of prey were not kosher, nor were swarming birds. They could not eat anything that had died a natural death. And finally, they could not boil a kid in its mother's milk. The 10% tithe was established, and a full tithe was taken every third year for the Levites. On the 7th year, all debts were forgiven and slaves were released. Generosity to the poor was mandatory and would be blessed by God. Israelites were to consecrate all male firstlings born in their herds and flocks and eat them. Moses instructed the Israelites to observe Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. And that is Rieh in 60 seconds.
Okay, so we have a lot of things to check, I think.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let me put the scripture here in the screen. And let's go to the chapter 11, verse 26 onward. I'm gonna begin reading, okay? So it says the following. Let me just check something. Yes, we're all good. So it says, see, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, when you obey the commands of YaHuWaH your Elohim, which I command you today. And the curse, if you do not obey the commands of YaHuWaH your Elohim, but turn aside from the way, which I command you today, to go after other mighty ones, which you have not known. And it shall be when YaHuWaH your Elohim has brought you into the land which you go to possess, that you shall put the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse of Mount Ebal. And there are they not beyond the Jordan, toward the setting sun, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the desert plain opposite Gilgal, beside the terebinth trees of Moreh? For you are passing over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you, and you shall possess it and dwell in it, and shall guard to do all the laws and right rulings which I am setting before you today. So I think this one is straightforward what he's telling us, right? It's blessing and curses. Blessing when we are obedient, curses when we are disobedient. And every time that when I read these phrases and statements that you are passing over the Jordan to go in to possess the land, this is without time. I think it's true that this was written for that second generation of Israel, but it's so much applicable to us. And not only in a spiritual interpretation, because spiritually it's true, we need to cross the Jordan. And it just came to my mind the dream of Nancy, that she wanted to cross the street. This is the similar thing. It's crossing the street to get into the presence of YaHuWaH. Crossing the street in order to get into the land, into the kingdom, into the presence where YaHuWaH is going to put his dwelling place. So spiritually speaking, exactly what we want to do is to cross the Jordan. And we cross the Jordan by following YaHuWaH HaMashiach, who is leading the way in the same way that was Joshua ben Nun leading the way for the second generation of Israel. So spiritually speaking, yes, we need to cross the Jordan in order to be in the presence of YaHuWaH. But physically, we're going to cross the Jordan too. I don't know if it's going to be the Jordan, but we are going to cross to the promised land. I do believe that everything will repeat once again, and we are going to be led by Yahushua in order to get into the promised land as the beginning of the restoration of all things. So that's why it's so important what he's saying here, because this is what should be in our heart all the time, is the blessings and the curses. And the blessing, it says, obey the commandments, is obey the Torah. And the curse, it says, not obey, but also he is highlighting, YaHuWaH is highlighting something in addition. about beyond disobedience. He's saying, turn aside from the way which I command you today. So being disobedient to his word is going to lead us astray from the way.
And I think that's why we have the curses, because it's like he's trying to take you again back to the path. It's not because he hates you. It's not something in vengeance that he's doing that. He's just trying to show us, okay, you're having this, so please go back. So it's hurting. So like Bilam, it was hurting.
Yes.
So it's telling you something needs to be
absolutely
in the right track again.
You know what? It's a kind of a funny example, but I don't know if you noticed, but when we're driving the cars, now the cars are coming with this technology of that can be self-driven drive.
Yeah.
And one of the options is to take a look on the markers of each one of the lanes in the highways, and it taking a look if the car is going to the right. Is sometimes it's just giving you a sign, an alert, or automatically is moving the car to the center. If it's going to the left, it's the same thing. So following the example that you just said, just let's imagine that there is a wall in each one of the sides. We can crash. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a sign that maybe we are going in the opposite direction. Is that we need to go and get to the center. It's the same thing that happened with Balaam. So, is turn away from the commandments and turn away from the way. And I'm going to mention something when we go to the verse 13, something that came in I think it was more clear with when we met Susan about what it means, the way. I think with YaHuWaH also we discussed about this. But I'm gonna wait for the 13 because I think it's going to be more relevant. But keep in mind, is being obedient is to get the blessings. Being disobedient is to get the curses. But being disobedient, it means that it's going to go together of turning us away from the way. So the way is so important. And this is something that I received during the trip. I'm going to share it when we get to the 13th. So let's move on to the chapter 12. And now it's your turn.
Okay. These are the laws and right rulings which you guard to do in the land which YaHuWaH, Elohim of your fathers, giving you to possess all the days that you live on the soil. Completely destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing serve the mighty ones, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. And you shall break down their slaughter places and smash their pillars and burn their asherim with fire. And you shall cut down the carved image of their mighty ones and shall destroy their name out of that place.
Let's make some comments here before you continue, because it's true that the YaHuWaH is instructing Israel what they should do when they cross the Jordan and go to the promised land. They need to remove all evidence or anything related to idolatry, right? So how much more, we are a land. We are coming from the soil from the dust of the soil. So in this body that is the set apart place is when we need to begin to remove any idolatry. You're laughing. Why?
Yeah, because
I'm stealing your comments.
yeah, you're stealing my comments somehow.
Sorry, I didn't read your comment. It's just the Ruach pulled something in my heart.
Okay.
Well, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
No, because when I was taking this, it says that YaHuWaH is choosing one place where he's going to dwell.
Wow.
And
okay.
And the beautiful thing is that it could mean that it's already existed. It was there, but it was contaminated. It was because it has bad people there. And he wants to remove that. Somehow, not all of us, maybe, we were that. We were in a place and living maybe a life far away from here, from him. So at one point, he was that person removing, cleaning, and he's still doing that. He's still teaching us. And it's going to be one moment, because I remember the last portion, he was saying that at one moment it's going to be YaHuWaH who is going to make us inherit finally the land. At this moment, we are in the cleaning process. So I found it very beautiful. And I remember what you were sharing yesterday about the glass. That was like, wow, that is what is coming next.
We're going to put a video on this. I think it's much easier to show it visually.
Yeah.
So it's removing idolatry, bad things, from the place he wants to dwell. Thinking this temple, we need to remove everything that is related to idolatry, that is going to become an abomination, that is going to defile this dwelling place, from the visible and including the invisible in each one of the places. We need to remove the pharmakia that is messing up, with our life. That's physical, but it's going to the spiritual as well.
Because the pharmakia is only dealing with the pain in a momentary way, and it's stopping that that the bad stuff is still there. It's not healing from the inside. At the end, it's just covering, making like a makeup.
Pharmakia is becoming, part of our bloodstream. I have been, what I'm reading, YaHuWaH put in during the trip, put on my way a book that I found while researching part of the study that I was doing. And it's so eye-opener, connected to everything we were studying. And what pharmakia is doing is exactly messing up with the temple of YaHuWaH. What we're doing when we eat, and we're going to talk about eating clean, or what it means to eat unclean, is messing up with this temple. So, when we understand this, exactly what is written here is that we need to completely destroy all the places where the nations which you are dispossessing serve their mighty ones. We need to begin with this temple first, with this land. We need to remove even the tiny things related to pharmakia, even the tiny things related to defilement, even the tiny things related to idolatry, in the visible and also in the invisible world, from this temple. That's going to be the only way that YaHuWaH is going to manifest himself in us, and is going to be the only way that he is going to dwell in the place he has chosen where to dwell. It's exactly the same thing. In the land of Israel, he was not going to dwell in that place before
He removed everything.
They were doing some cleaning.
Yeah.
So let's begin doing some cleaning here. It's time that we need to clean this house. And we have been doing it by eating clean. But we need to go beyond. It's not only eating clean in the courtyard. Is we need to put clean things in our entire being. What we learn, what we study, what we see, what we remember. Not remembering the bad stuff, remembering the good stuff of what YaHuWaH has been doing for all of us. That's the only way that he is going to dwell here. We're going to be like the crushed glass. But we need to remember, and I didn't mention this to you. Just came because he just put what I need in the way that I need to put it. We don't need to remember the glass being totally destroyed or crushed. We need to remember the hand taking piece by piece and put it all together in order to make it whole again. So we decide to remember the wrong thing or the suffering, or we decide to remember what YaHuWaH is doing. No, I need to do it in a visual way.
Okay.
I already mentioned what it means, by the way.
Okay.
So you can continue. Let's do it.
And
Verse
I was
4.
reading. Sorry.
Yes, you are reading.
Do not do so to YaHuWaH your Elohim, but seek the place which YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses. out of all your tribes, to put his name there for his dwelling place, and there you shall enter. See? From all the tribe, there is a specific place that he chooses to dwell. And there you shall take your ascending offerings, and your slaughters, and your tithes, and the contribution of your hand, and your bowed offerings, and your voluntary offerings, and the firstlings of your herd and of your flock. And then there you shall eat before YaHuWaH your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all that you put your hand to, you and your households, in which YaHuWaH your Elohim has blessed you. Okay. Do not do as we are doing here today, each one doing whatever is right in his own eyes.
And I think we're doing that, and we will continue doing that, though we are in the boot camp, as Dennis told me.
Yeah.
He just put the right word. We're in the boot camp, learning. But though that we are learning things today, and we are applying those things in our life, there are certain areas that we are still doing what is right in our eyes.
Yeah.
Who is coming to put things straight is YaHuWaH HaMashiach. He is the one that he is going to come and going to say, you are having some dispute about the calendar.
Yes,
this is the way we need to keep. You are having disputes about how to apply righteousness in this area of your life. Okay, this is the way that needs to be done. And he's going to complete, with the missing pieces that we are having today. He is going to be the one putting things straight.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so maybe, we need to understand sometimes when we are doing things according
to our own eyes.
Our own eyes.
Because you have not yet entered the rest and the inheritance which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you. But you shall pass over the Jordan, and shall dwell in the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you to inherit. And he shall give you rest from all your enemies round about, and you shall dwell in safety. And it shall be that unto the place which YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell there you are going to bring all that I command you, your ascending offerings, and your slaughters, and your tithes, and the contribution of your hand, and all your choice offerings which you bow to YaHuWaH. And you shall rejoice before YaHuWaH your Elohim, you and your sons, and your daughters, and your male servants, and your female servants, and the Levites who is within your gates, since he has no portion nor inheritance with you.
Let me say something here, because actually two things that came to my heart. First, it's gonna be such a wonderful time when we're going to be able to fulfill to the word, to the letter, this commandment. I just picture myself walking in the land of Israel doing Aliyah. For those of you that don't know the geography, every time that you're going from the different places in the direction to Jerusalem is in a higher position, elevation. So doing Aliyah is the Hebrew term is ascending. So that's why, in some of the prophecies in the scripture, it says that let's go up to the mountain of YaHuWaH. So he is going to instruct us in his ways and his Torah, because it's physically going up. So just picture myself walking, doing Aliyah with the sheep and the lambs that is coming from the offering, with all the rest of the assembly in order to offer this to YaHuWaH. It's going to be, as it is written here, something that we are going to rejoice, just only by remembering that maybe in these times we are not able to do it. As I said at the beginning, looking last week, it was like a dream. It didn't exist. But it really happened.
Yeah.
So when we are going to walk fulfilling this commandment, we're going to look into the past, remembering a time like this one, that we are reading and studying the word and just dreaming on what it's going to look like and how it's going to feel like fulfilling the commandment. And that, only that, is going to bring rejoice to our hearts. So, how we can apply this to our life now, is bringing offerings to YaHuWaH. Offerings of our prayers, our voice, singing to Him, helping each other. If somebody is falling down, is to extend a hand and help him. Because every time that we are doing it for Mashiach. This is what he said.
It can be with a word, with prayers, with physical or help that we can provide. And now, later we are going to read, but it says, extend your hand because you were so blessed. So that's the meaning of helping. He's going to continue pouring His blessing if we see that we can help others.
And the second thing is, or the third thing actually, and this is so beautiful, this is a greater path. And thank you, Annie, for leading me to reading that chapter, because it showed me something even beautiful. Is that it says in the verse 12 is that you should rejoice before YaHuWaH your Elohim, you and your sons and everybody. And though this is an individual path, the greater thing is to doing it together, is to take care of our individual relationship with YaHuWaH, but at the same time is to have the heart of a servant in order to serve the assembly. And this is exactly what is written here. You are going to rejoice, but not only you. Everybody, the entire assembly, needs to rejoice. So we need to do everything in our hands to have that heart of a servant, taking care of the sheep, taking care for one another, understanding that it's up to us. Exactly as Yahushua said, they are going to recognize you as my disciples, my Talmidim, only not because of the mighty signs and wonders you're going to do, not because how well you keep Torah, not because
you're using tzitzit.
You are using the tzitzit and keeping the right calendar and so on. No, they're going to recognize you as my disciples because of the love that is being in your hearts for one another. So serving the assembly. And you can ask yourself, how I'm going to serve the assembly? I'm not prepared to speak in front of people. I'm not that wise maybe to study the word and so on. You have a special talent. That's why YaHuWaH saw something in you. That's why YaHuWaH woke you up. That's why YaHuWaH, in His great wisdom, from the beginning of the world, He saw something in you, and He decided that He was going to give you life in this moment in time. It's time that we need to begin to believe. It's time that we need to begin believing in what YaHuWaH saw in each one of us, and to use the talent that YaHuWaH gave us in order to serve one another, in order to build up ourselves individually, but also to make sure that we, as the people of YaHuWaH, that we are also a set apart place for Him. We're building ourselves, each other up, in order to fulfill this commandment. I don't want to be doing aliyah, doing exactly this commandment to the letter, just alone, or just between the two of us.
You're going to take me.
Absolutely. If you behave, I'm going to take you. I want to see my bloodline family with me. I think that's the desire
Of all and everybody.
all of us. And I want to see each one of you, with no exception, each one of you, all together, doing aliyah.
And even
Going
all
up.
those that we don't know.
Even those, yeah.
Because then the ruach of him is going to be covering and among everybody there. Mm.
Sometimes we're so selfish in our way. We need to think in the others. Because this is what is bringing fullness in our heart. And you know, I think God has taught us in so beautiful ways. You know, even by doing this study, doing this broadcast, and we have been telling each one of you is that the ones that are being blessed the most, it's us. You are going to feel it as soon as you begin using the talent that YaHuWaH gave you. Don't waste more time. We need to rejoice together in serving YaHuWaH. Okay, let's continue. And we've been too much, you know.
It was your turn now. I was waiting before starting in the beginning.
Yeah, but you are doing it off camera. I'm doing it on camera.
But I have the proof that I was crying when my nose is getting red.
You know, we should not be ashamed of feeling the ruach feeling us. It doesn't matter what people will say. It doesn't matter if they're going to believe we are mad. You know, we need to let the ruach flow in us because that's going to be the only way that we're going to be able to fulfill our duty. So, in the same way that you began putting in practice Torah, and it was difficult at the beginning, and it continues being difficult, and we continue learning, we need to learn exactly the same way and letting the ruach using us and flowing within us. It doesn't matter what people will say. It doesn't matter the persecution we can face. We need to let the ruach flow. That's going to be the only way that we're going to be able to understand and learn more. I don't know to whom or where I said this. I think it was with Susan. It was in the last visit. We see the menorah having 7 candles. The Kohen Hagadol was not lighting each one of them at the same time. He was doing it one by one, because he didn't have a switch in the wall to turn the light on all at once immediately. No, he was coming with the fire and lighting with that fire, the set apart fire. He was lighting each one of the candle one by one. If we want to receive the fullness of the Ruach of Elohim, we need to start lighting the first one and allowing the Kohen Hagadol, that is Yahushua HaMashiach, to light that one first. Because if we allow this to be lighting in us, he will continue doing it with the 7 candles.
Yeah. But if we rejected that, and if we stopped him and we
we need to be with the oil. We need to be prepared. So when Yahushua is coming in to dine with us, he's going to line the first one. And as soon as this is lighting and shining, he's going to continue with the rest, giving us the fullness of the Ruach of Elohim. And what it means in practice is that, we're feeling the Ruach, feeling us from the inside out. We need to let it flow. It doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter who is around us. It's YaHuWaH doing something within us.
Imagine that even Abba, he has very strong emotions. When he was getting mad with the people, when he was feeling sorrow, he was suffering also. And I think that even though not everybody shared this with me, but when it says that he was feeling a very big pain because he was creating this way for us in order that we can come back to him. From the very beginning, I know that he was suffering when Adam and Eve, they have to be kicked out of the garden of his presence, that he has to do something so we can return to him. And putting his right hand there, Yahushua, part of himself, sacrifice him on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it was something very painful for him.
Mm-hmm. That's the heart of a servant.
And I'm always imagining when YaHuWaH was saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, ¿por qué me has abandonado, Eli, mi padre, mi él? It's not because he was alone. I think, and somewhere I read it about that it says, imagine how a dad, even though he's there in the most difficult time, there is a moment that maybe he was closing his eyes because it was too much pain. So how beautiful and how nice it's going to be, and how happy it's going to be for him and for us when finally we're going to be in that moment of encountering in a very big hug. And he wants us to be back. So he's giving us everything possible, and he's doing little by little. As you said, he cannot give us everything at one time, even though we have everything here. Everything is here. But first we were receiving maybe the Shabbat, maybe the feast, maybe the calendar. And he's giving everything little by little.
True.
Sorry.
It's a kind of competition, I feel it now, who's getting more touch by the Lord. It's a good competition, by the way.
And I'm reading. Sorry.
You are reading. You want me to continue?
No. It's okay. Yeah.
The verse 13.
13. Guard yourself that you do not offer your ascending offerings in every place that you see, except in the place which YaHuWaH chooses. In one of your tribes, there you are to offer your ascending offerings, and there you are to do all that I command you. Only whatever your being desires, you shall slaughter and eat, according to the blessing of YaHuWaH your Elohim, which he has given you, within all your gates. The unclean and the clean do eat of it, of the gazelle and the deer alike. Only the blood you do not eat, pour it out on earth like water. You are not allowed to eat within your gates the tithes of your grain, or of your new wine, or of your oil, or of the firstling of your herd or your flock, or of any of your offerings which you vow, or of your voluntary offering, or of the contribution of your hand. But eat them before YaHuWaH your Elohim in the place which YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses. You and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates. And you shall rejoice before YaHuWaH your Elohim in all that you put your hand to. Guard yourself that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in the land. When YaHuWaH your Elohim enlarges your border, as he has promised you, and you say, let me eat meat, because you long to eat meat, you eat as much as meat as your being desires. When the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, then you shall slaughter from your herd and from your flock, which YaHuWaH has given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat within your gates as much as your being desires.
So, though we cannot apply any of this literally, it is the spirit of this commandment that is the most important in this time is to rejoice in everything that YaHuWaH is giving us, is to rejoice in his Torah, is to rejoice in everything that he has given us, even in the difficult things, because he's teaching us his ways. So every time that we do something in our day-to-day, every time that we are going through, facing some situations, every time that we receive something, a blessing, we need to rejoice. We need to see, not with these physical eyes, we need to see with our spiritual eyes, is that YaHuWaH is in control of everything. If we are able to receive something, or we are able to experience something in our lives, it's because it's YaHuWaH behind the scene, doing everything. Even the bad things sometimes.
Yeah, we have to remember Job.
Yes.
Or Job, I don't know how to say.
So we need to see that YaHuWaH is the one giving us opportunities to learn, And we need to rejoice, understanding He is the one allowing all of that to happen.
And I was in there.
And we have no excuse, because it says that even if it's too far, we need to serve Him and we need to rejoice. So if we want to apply this in our times, and I know we can apply this from during the feast, though that we are in the wilderness in this point, we are not in the promised land yet. And we are doing, because we are rehearsing, we are learning all of this. We can apply this also spiritually. Is that even if we are far away from Him, because we are feeling ourselves so isolated, we are feeling so lonely, because maybe we are going through some difficulties, we have no excuse. If we're far away, He's saying, okay, if you're far away, you need to take your silver, your gold, come here and rejoice in me. So that's a change of attitude.
Is rejoicing with Him.
Is rejoicing with Him, even during tribulation. Can you imagine? And I always wonder this: how the disciples were able, and the prophets, the Nevi'im, were able to endure and to rejoice, because they decided here internally, within themselves, within themselves. Maybe it's the same word.
Maybe.
They decided within themselves to walk not by sight, to walk by faith, by the Ruach of Elohim.
Led by Him.
It doesn't matter the surrounding. It doesn't matter persecution. If we allow the Ruach of Elohim to dwell in us and to be led by the Ruach, we're going to walk by faith and not by sight. And the rejoice of YaHuWaH will be ignited inside. So we are going to be able to endure till the end. So even in those difficult times, we need to come back. We need to make the decision within us that we are going to remember YaHuWaH and the good things that He has given us. Even the tribulations we are going through is YaHuWaH giving us the opportunity to understand that He is behind us. That He is the one sustaining our hands, but it's up to us to decide if we're going to let Him do it, or we are going to be stubborn, stiff-necked, and we will continue not getting closer to Him and rejoicing in Him. And this is something that we are all facing every day, every time. It's just a matter to be conscious and understanding that He is there and He is for us. He is our daddy. He wants to teach us. He wants to guide us.
Which one?
22.
22. Only as the gazelle and the deer are eaten, so you are to eat of it. The unclean and the clean alike eat of it. Only be strong, not to eat the blood. It's funny because it says only be strong, not to eat the blood. Maybe it's some kind of weakness.
What do you mean?
I don't know, because it repeats only be strong, not to eat the blood. So maybe it's a kind of weakness that when, I don't know, for why He's saying be strong.
In relation to the blood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
think,
it was a kind of a common practice.
I think it was a common practice, and maybe there's something spiritually related to that. We're going to be pushed to spiritually by evil spirits to do something against that. And when we're talking about blood, it's totally related to, I think, what is with pharmakia we're doing. Blood is bringing all the life. It's going to, to the hidden part of our bodies. It's becoming part of us. The same thing when we eat something. Science somehow is proving this truth. Is that every time that we eat something, is going to go to our bloodstream. If we are eating the blood, it's going to become part of us. If we allow pharmakia to go in, it's going to become part of us. So maybe it requires an additional strength. Just to continue with the same example, how difficult it is to go against pharmakia. At the beginning, it was difficult for many of us until we saw the truth. But we see, even with the people close to us, in our example, that, pharmakia is the first thing
That they
to go to. So in order to remove it, we need to be strong, because that will require faith, an additional mindset that, okay, this is not good for this temple. So I think it's the same thing with blood.
For the blood is life. Do not eat the life with the meat. Do not eat it. You pour it on the earth like water. Do not eat it, that it might be well with you and your children after you, when you do what is right in the eyes of YaHuWaH. Only the set-apart gift which you have and your vowed offerings you are to take up and go to the place which YaHuWaH chooses. And you shall make your ascending offerings, the meat and the blood, on your slaughter place of YaHuWaH your Elohim, and the blood of your slaughtering is poured out on the slaughter place of YaHuWaH your Elohim, and you eat the meat. Guard and obey all these words which I command you, that it might be well with you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good and right in the eyes of YaHuWaH your Elohim. When YaHuWaH your Elohim does cut off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, guard yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about the mighty ones, saying, how does this nation serve the mighty ones? And let me do so too. Do not do so to YaHuWaH your Elohim, for every abomination which YaHuWaH hates they have done to their mighty ones, for they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their mighty ones. All the words I am commanding you, guard to do it. Do not add to it, nor take away from it.
So that's why we need to be so careful
Yeah.
on what we are allowing to get inside us. The physical and the invisible.
Yeah.
The visible and the invisible.
Not try to learn from what they were doing.
Yes. And every time that we are trying to understand certain things, just to understand the word, we need to pray about it, and we ask for protection. It's YaHuWaH is so wise. We were talking the other day about this. These things, what the 7 nations did, what the fallen angels taught, are real thing. Are spiritual manifestation, are this part of the spiritual realm. That's why he's saying, don't do it. If not, we are going to get caught into an abomination. And we have so many examples throughout the word of YaHuWaH that we can see the activity of that spiritual realm. And that's why, he's saying that we need to be prepared, fully prepared, with the armor of YaHuWaH, our battle gear, for the spiritual fight. Because the fight is around us. The other day that happened to us, I'm not going to give you all the details, but we were sitting in the day that we are flying back to Santiago on Thursday. And there was a boy of 5 years, 4 years.
No, I think 3 years something.
Okay, it was around 4 years.
Yeah, because there were 2.
And he was, we were sitting in a public place, just waiting for my daughter, the 2 of us. And we were going through some spiritual fight at that moment, in our mind. And this boy began to play around us. And he was making noise, going to and from. And you told me, those are our kids. That's the way that they behave. I said, it's true. I know.
But you felt it.
And I told you, I said, I'm not looking at things with my eyes now, for a while already. And seeing it from a spiritual point of view. And believe me, what's this boy is doing it is in order to bother us now that we're in the spiritual battle. And I was telling you, if you remember, it's not the noise that he's making. At least what was within me making even more is the repetitive
Yeah, knocking.
Knocking.
Very strong. He was jumping and jumping and jumping.
And then we were having that, debate that you were telling me, no, is this the skid? No, Lillian.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
spiritual thing that is coming in order to bother us more.
And you were telling me that he could have even choose every place, but it was
He was in that place. There
in
was
that
other
place.
seats
Yeah.
over there that
he was
available,
next
but
to
he
us.
was next to us. And suddenly, and you can tell what happened. Suddenly, what he began to do, to spit.
To spit was, but not a regular spit. It was like foam, something
Foam.
like that. Yeah,
And he was doing it next to that.
to us. Yeah.
And you looked at me, I was thinking on the same, and I told you, you see, that's not coincidence.
Yeah.
That is an evidence of what I'm telling you. Evil spirits, it doesn't mean that they are going to possess a person.
Oh.
They can do things through a person,
And just to bother.
in
And
order
just
to bother the children of Elohim. That's why we need to, as I said to many of you in the last 2 weeks, we need to begin calling things as they are with the right names. We need to start looking at things with our spiritual eyes, understanding that sometimes people behave in certain ways, not because they are like that, it's because there is a spiritual fight that we need to be able to recognize that and to fight it back with the Ruach of Elohim. So we need to be attentive. We need to have our eyes, ears open. And maybe we have our spiritual eyes here, and it's the other way around. But we need to do it. We need to do it. We should not be stuck in thinking and debating. No, this is just to take an example. No, this is natural behavior. No, we are in a spiritual battle, and we need to fight it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the chapter 13. Can you put the chapter? You
It's
already have
already
it.
there.
Can you manage the mouse for me, please?
Okay.
Because I'm going to read from here.
Okay.
So it says, when there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true, of which he has spoken to you, saying, let us go after other mighty ones, which you have not known, and serve them. Do not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for YaHuWaH your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love YaHuWaH your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after YaHuWaH your Elohim and fear him and guard his commands and obey his voice and serve him and cling to him. So, what we're talking about. You want to say something before I go? You had something prepared over there, I think, right?
No,
You go ahead.
that I was remembering about the case of the messenger and the prophet
Mm.
when he was getting an instruction, and then somebody came and was giving the opposite instruction that he received from YaHuWaH.
If I go into the details, I think he got the message. Go this way, give the message, and you need to come from through the same way. So he was receiving the instruction to return for certain way.
Yeah. So it was like 2 ways, something like that.
Yes.
And he was asked, I don't know, for instance, go to your right. And then in the path, he was meeting this messenger, and he was telling him, no, it's okay, you can return, so you don't have to go in this way, because and I don't remember right now how was that he was doing that, showing that he was a messenger, or he was.
I don't remember exactly also, but he got an other prophet saying, no, I received this message from YaHuWaH, then you need to go in a different direction.
Yeah. So when we put our ear on that, even though that person was being tried, what was doing YaHuWaH with this messenger is just checking if we are obedient on following his instruction.
Yes, Karen, the one that was eaten by the lions.
Yeah.
That's exactly that they were talking about.
And I remember that it says that the messenger was feeling so bad, because, and I think that he was even asking if we can bury them or not. I don't remember.
I don't remember the details of the story, but I think it's a good
But
example.
and
Is
it's
that
going-
we need to be, obedient to every word that YaHuWaH is giving us.
Yeah.
And we can have some temptations that are coming from him. It's exactly what is written here. I'm trying you if you are going to follow YaHuWaH completely. So what came to our mind when we were visiting Susan. And Susan, thank you so much for being with us here. And I really hope that Michael got the message and I will do something with him. So while we were with Susan in Georgia on Wednesday, YaHuWaH put something in my heart about how to understand this way. And I think what is written here in the chapter 13 is helping to understand even better. So we see two things here. We see a prophet, a person that can bring a sign or a wonder, can bring a dream and so on, but not necessarily is following the truth. So maybe he is a person like in the same way that Mashiach is saying in the book of Matthew chapter 7, that people will come to him saying, but Master, we have been casting out demons in your name, we have been providing healings and this and that. Go away from me, you who work lawlessness, anomia. You that are breaking Torah. You who are not following the truth. It's exactly here. We can be used by the Ruach of Elohim and to bring signs and wonders and to bring, dreams in the same way that we are reading here. But maybe we are not following the truth and we can deviate people from the truth. And what YaHuWaH is saying here is that we should not listen to those words. It says that we need to walk after YaHuWaH Elohim and fear him and guard his command and obey his voice and serve him and cling to him. So we're talking about two things. Is following the truth and being used by the Ruach. Is serving YaHuWaH, is worshiping him in the same way that Yahushua was saying, in the Ruach, in spirit, and in truth. And the example when we're talking to Susan is a beautiful one, and I'm gonna try to put the example here. So a way, and I was talking to Angela and the same yesterday, a way is something that is allowing us to connect from one point to the other. So how we are going to be able to go from one point to the other is by using the way. In what way? Walking. So we need to walk from one way to the other. We are being called to go into the way of righteousness, the path of YaHuWaH, going from the point that we are now in order to get to our destination in the kingdom of YaHuWaH here on earth. Is the narrow path. So not deviating from the right nor to the left,
So
going
maybe you
straight.
can put it there, like this.
It's much easier for me. So we need to walk. It says in the verse 4, walk. What we need to walk?
The way.
The way, but also what we need. We need legs.
What
we need.
Okay.
We need legs.
Okay.
Can we walk with one leg?
No.
It's gonna be much difficult. We are gonna need to be jumping, and the possibility to fall down is much bigger. The possibility to get out of the way is much bigger. We can go with the other one. Yes, we can go with the other one, jumping, and we are gonna fall. We can go out. We need the two legs in order to walk. And after walking with the two legs, we can run to get into, it looks funny, right? In order to get to destination. What are the two legs in the way of YaHuWaH? Is the truth of the Torah of YaHuWaH. And is the Ruach of Elohim. The two things is one leg, the Ruach of Elohim, that we need to walk with the Ruach. And the second is the truth. So what's going to happen is the opposite of what is written here. We are going to be able to do signs and wonders when we are walking with the fullness of the Ruach of Elohim, but keeping with the other leg the truth of the word of YaHuWaH. So we are going to be able to tell people about the kingdom of YaHuWaH. We are going to be able to be working and operating in the Ruach of Elohim in signs and wonders, but keeping always the truth of the word of YaHuWaH, the commandments of YaHuWaH, the way of YaHuWaH, the truth, the Torah, the eternal instruction. So remember, this is the way we need to walk, using our two legs, using the Ruach, the Spirit, and the truth of the Torah of YaHuWaH. Walking after YaHuWaH, our Elohim, in fear to him, not to the world, not to our enemies. So it says, I'm reading, right?
Yeah.
And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams is put to death, because he has spoken apostasy against YaHuWaH your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim and ransomed you from the house of bondage, to make you astray from the way in which YaHuWaH your Elohim commanded you to walk. It's exactly the same example I just provided. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, who is as your own being, entices you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers.
Okay, sorry.
7.
Yeah.
Of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you, or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye part on him, nor spare him or conceal him, but you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. You shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from YaHuWaH your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim from the house of bondage. You know, and for sure, who's going to bring punishment? Who is the one who's going to bring cleansing and refinement is Yahushua HaMashiach. He's coming with the immersion of fire in order to cleanse everything in this world. So how we can apply this, again, when we look into this temple? What Yahushua said, if our right hands or our left hand is an occasion for us to fall down, we need to cut it out. He's not saying that we need to do it physically. It's basically the actions we're doing. We need to remove those things from ourselves. Everything that is deviating us from the way of YaHuWaH. And again, we know now that the way of YaHuWaH, we need the two legs. Everything that is deviating us from the manifestation of the Ruach of Elohim. We need to cut it out and remove it from ourselves. Everything that is pushing us to deviate ourselves from the truth of the word of YaHuWaH, the Torah of YaHuWaH, we need to remove it and cut it out, because we need our two legs in order to walk in the way of YaHuWaH, to get and reach destination. Okay? And let all Israel hear and fear, and not again do any such evil matter as this in your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities which YaHuWaH your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, some men, son of Elial, have gone out of your midst, from the Kerev, by the way, and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, let us go and serve other mighty ones whom you have not known. Then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true and established, that this abomination was done in your midst. You shall certainly strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the ban, and all that is in it and its livestock with the edge of the sword. What is our sword? This is our sword. What it's talking about is talking about the spiritual battle. Or we have not read the book of Enoch, have not we read the book of Jubilees, how the evil spirit, the spirit of the Nephilim, were pushing the people to commit idolatry, abominations, and even were pushing the people to kill between themselves. All this scripture, what it's talking about, is evil spirit going from our midst in order to push people on doing and committing abomination and idolatry. And what we are being instructed is that we need to remove those evil spirits. And how we remove them? Striking them with the sword. What is the sword? Is the living word of YaHuWaH manifested with the Ruach and the power of the Ruach of YaHuWaH in us, and with the truth of the word. That's why it's a double-edged sword. It's the same thing. It's with the truth and in the Ruach. Both things working together in the same way that Yahushua showed us himself doing it, with the Ruach and in truth. So So, the time is coming, and we have been talking to some of you, is that we need to begin operating in this way, fighting the spiritual battle, operating with the truth that we have learned so far, but now we need to operate it also with the Ruach of Elohim. We need to begin seeking the Ruach of YaHuWaH in the same way that we began seeking the truth of His Word. That's going to be the way that we're going to have the two-edged sword in order to fight back. And the world needs us. Creation is groaning for the manifestation of you and us, the children of Elohim. It's time that we should remove any doubt from our head, our mind, and our heart, and we need to let the Ruach of Elohim to guide us and to teach us how to operate with the power that is coming from above, because we're going to fight the battle and we are going to win the battle, not by might, not by power, but by the Ruach of Elohim. How we are going to be able to fight the battle if we don't have the Ruach? We already have the truth, and we will continue learning the truth. Now it's time that we need to learn how to walk in the Ruach of Elohim. And that should be the priority for our prayers. Ask YaHuWaH, teach me, fill me with your Ruach. Teach me and walk me through how to walk in your Ruach in the same way that you taught me how to walk in your word, in your truth, in your Torah. He's going to do it as soon as we begin asking Him. Again, the menorah, lighting the menorah, the candle, one by one. As soon as He's given us something in the Ruach, is to begin learning how to operate in that gift of the Ruach of Elohim. And continue asking for more, but at the same time keeping the truth of the Torah of YaHuWaH, learning the truth, guarding the commandments in order to not to deviate to the right or to the left.
They go together.
16. And gather all its plunder into the middle of the street, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder before YaHuWaH your Elohim. And it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again, like my dream, with the heap of garbage in front of each houses. We need to remove the garbage from inside the house, keeping it outside, and we need to burn it completely. Removing sin and removing idolatry and abomination from this temple. And none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand. So YaHuWaH turns from the fierceness of His displeasure and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you as He swore to your fathers, when you obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim, that subtle voice He's bringing through His Ruach in us, to guard all His commands, which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of YaHuWaH your Elohim, know what is right in our eyes, not letting, our inner us making the decisions and not deny itself. Our inner us, our real one, our real man, our real spirit within us is the one needs to deny itself in order to let the Ruach of Elohim to guide us in the truth, in order to do the desire and the will of the heart of YaHuWaH. Let's move on. You want to add something? No? Okay. Sorry, I needed to spell it out.
Yeah.
It was here, I couldn't contain. I needed to get out.
Yeah, I'm here, so I hear it with much volume.
That's good. It's becoming even stronger in your ears going to that place.
You are the children of YaHuWaH your Elohim. Do not cut yourself, nor shave the front of your head for the dead. For you are a set-apart people to YaHuWaH your Elohim, and YaHuWaH has chosen you to be a people for Himself. Wow, beautiful. A treasured possession above all the peoples who are on the face of the earth. Do not eat whatever is abominable. These are the living creatures which you do eat: ox, sheep, and goat, deer and gazelle, and roebuck, and wild goat, and mountain goat, and antelope, and mountain sheep, and every beast that has a split hoof divided in two, chewing the cud among the beasts, you do it. But of those chewing the cud, or those having a split hoof completely divided, you do not eat, such as this, the camel and the hare and the rabbit, for they chew the cud, but do not have a split hoof. They are unclean to you. And the pig is unclean to you, because it has a split hoof, but does not chew the cud. Do not eat their flesh or touch their dead carcasses. This you do eat of all. What is interesting, it says the pig is unclean and everything, but he exists for a reason.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
everything
because
exists for
yeah,
a reason.
Because when we are starting this way, I remember
It's not to eat it.
It's not to eat it. It doesn't mean that if you see, you have to run away from it or like, "Ah!" No, it's not like that.
Like what?
I don't know, like that you're freaking out. No, it's that everything exists because of a reason.
Absolutely.
But we don't have to eat
Something
them.
is to eat and something for the other
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. And
But it's funny that after reading the previous chapter and how to understand from a spiritual way that it's a spiritual battle and so on. Now the next chapter is talking about how to keep the temple
now I
clean
understand. With the
say,
food.
with the food.
Yeah.
So I think the sequence of how it's written is
Yeah.
not coincidence.
Yeah.
It's talking from the invisible
Yeah.
first
Now
to
to
the
the
visible.
visible stuff. How to do it in the practical way.
and beginning this chapter saying you are a set apart, a kadosh people
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. So we have to put an eye on this, the how we are eating. This you do eat of all that are in the waters, all that have pins and scales, you do eat. And whatever does not have pins and scales, you do not eat. It is unclean for you. Any clean bird do you eat, but this you do not eat: the eagle and the vulture and the black vulture and the red kite and the falcon and the buzzard after their kinds, and every raven after its kind, and the ostrich and the nighthawk and the seagull and the hawk after their kinds, the little owl and the great owl and the white owl and the pelican and the carrion vulture and the fisher owl and the stork and the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe and the bat, hoopoe, I think that is, and the bat, and every creeping insect that flies is unclean for you. They are not eaten. Any clean. That is interesting because lately it has been pushed by a lot of countries. About the
Eating
insects, and that they are going to be introduced as part of the food.
They are already doing it actually.
And they are doing it. So please be watchful and read everything that you are having, because then even though you are not eating directly, it could be hidden in the food that we are having.
Jimmy and Marisabel are doing a fantastic job on that, and thank you, Jimmy, for sharing that knowledge with Angela, with my daughter.
Yeah.
Because that's the way, even in small gatherings or in special moments, is YaHuWaH giving the opportunity to share this knowledge
And learn more.
So now I think even the most, when we need to start reading and being so cautious on what we eat, what we are allowing to go in through the gate to the courtyard or stomachs.
Yeah. Should
Okay.
I continue?
Yep.
Any clean bird do you eat. Do not eat whatever dies of itself. Give it to the stranger who is within your gates to eat it, or sell it to a foreigner. For you are a set-apart people to YaHuWaH your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. And here I wanted to make a pause, because we realize and we have heard about that people, and when we start this walk, sometimes the jealous that we have because of all these new rules and things takes us maybe to an extreme. And we know that still some people do it, like they don't mix meat with milk, or
In Judaism, they always do it.
they do that. They have even two different refrigerators, because one is for the meat and all vegetables, and some other for the dairy products.
I think the meaning of this passage, I don't
Is
know what
that-
it is, but I think it's something totally different.
So I think that here is saying when you don't have to cook the goat in the milks, of the mother. So it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you are going to cook the meat with the milk, I think. But even in this case, I think that is related, is even as you said, a different complete meaning.
Mm-hmm.
You shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. And you shall eat before YaHuWaH your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and your new wine, and of your oil, and of the firstlings of your herd and your sheep, so that you learn to fear YaHuWaH your Elohim always. But when the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when YaHuWaH your Elohim is blessing you, then you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand, and go to the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses. And you shall use the silver for whatever your being desire, for cattle or sheep, for wine or strong drink, for whatever your being desires, and you shall eat it there before YaHuWaH your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. Do not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no power, not inheritance with you. At the end of every third year, you bring out all the tithe of your increase of that year, and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion, not inheritance with you, and the sojourner and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that YaHuWaH your Elohim does bless you in all the work of your hand, which you do.
So, one thing that I wanted to mention in this chapter, and I see Daniel ask a question that is gonna help me to share what is in my heart. Daniel asks, how could we consider in these times the place where the Father has chosen to put his name, but is it not possible in these times? So all this instruction, in the same way that we saw in the previous chapter, is the commandment when we are in the land. So to answer the question of Daniel, I do believe that we don't have the means now to do it, because we are like in the wilderness. It will come the time, in the same way that the first and the second generation of Israel, they lived for the 40 years in the wilderness, most probably they were keeping the feast. I told somebody recently, I don't picture myself Moshe not keeping Pesach. He received the instruction, they were keeping the feast. As Dennis told me, on last trip, the boot camp. We are in a boot camp, we are training, we are learning all of this, because at the moment we are going to cross the Jordan, there's no way back. We need to already know how to keep these things, because there's no other option in the land, because we are set apart people. And this is really important. Why saying the foreigner and the stranger that we need to give the other things? In the way that I understand this, is that basically a stranger and a foreigner can become part of the people of YaHuWaH. They can decide to do so. So it means that they can go astray by not keeping the commandment? Not at all. It's talking about not the stranger and the foreigners that are decided to go and join Israel. It's talking about the other ones that are decided not yet. So why I'm saying this is that now we are training, we are learning, we need to do as much as we can. We need to learn everything in order to be ready to the real thing, to the real moment. And this is also applicable to the point that I wanted to mention, is about the blessings. It says here that, in the final part, it says, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that YaHuWaH your Elohim does bless you in all the works of your hand which you do. So, is YaHuWaH blessing us only with material things? Is YaHuWaH, and our focus should be to get the blessings from YaHuWaH through silver, gold, animals, and so on? Because all of that is being mentioned in this chapter as the one that they are going to use in order to bring into the place, to Jerusalem. So, following the same pattern. Israel in the wilderness, what are the blessings they were receiving?
They were receiving Torah.
They were receiving Torah. They were receiving manna, bread from heaven. They were receiving flesh sent by YaHuWaH.
And what they have, and I think that is beautiful, is that they have the YaHuWaH with them,
His presence.
His presence. So
Yes.
we need also to share that.
He was giving instruction. That was the blessings that we're receiving. Let me give you another example. The disciples of Mashiach, Mashiach himself, were they receiving material, visible blessings? You know, it's just a matter to read the Brit Hadashah. What Peter, Kepha said to the paralytic, I don't have silver or gold, but what I have within me, I will give it to you. And what was that? Was power. Was the power, was the Ruach of Elohim. In these times, we can receive the material blessing. That's true, because YaHuWaH is so lovely and compassionate. If we lack something, He can give it to us. And I'm telling you it by experience, because He has been supporting me all the time and providing for my needs. But the most important blessing we can receive from Him, and that should be our focus, is the blessing that are coming from above. Those are the spiritual bread that we can read it Shabbat after Shabbat, day by day, reading here in order to get knowledge that is going directly to our minds. Is the flesh, you know, is the food, is the drink that is coming from the righteousness of His word and His kingdom. And it's the Ruach, His presence, that is going to fill us from the inside. Those are the blessings that we need to get. You know, that's why Yahushua said, seek first the kingdom of YaHuWaH and His righteousness, because He's going to add all the rest. The best blessings that we should consider in, especially now that we are in the wilderness and we are in the boot camp, in the same way that the disciples were receiving this blessing because they were in the boot camp, though they were in the land of Israel, they were not part of the kingdom yet, because Rome, they were under the system of the beast. And we are still under the system of the beast. We need to realize that. Sometimes we forget. We are part of the system of the beast. You know,
We are under.
Under.
Yeah, no part.
Thank you. We're under. It's the system of the beast ruling. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's true, Camila. Not much longer. But we're still under the rulership of the system of the beast. But the disciples of Mashiach received something that is invisible and is more powerful blessing that is coming directly from YaHuWaH. We can get exactly the same blessings. And we're already getting it since several years ago. But it's going to get stronger if we seek with all our hearts. You know, the material blessings will come, and it will come later. And I think it's coming with the hand of Yahushua. As soon as He's coming here to establish the kingdom, it's going to happen exactly the same thing, it's my belief, that happened to the first generation of Israel. They were being taken out from the world, from Egypt, and they were coming out not empty-handed. They received all the blessings from the world, and they were bringing all of this with what purpose? To build the tabernacle. Maybe we're going to do the same. It's going to be Yahushua building the temple. And we are going to be in need to contribute in the same way that Israel contributed. That's going to be fantastic if it happens that way. It's going to test our heart. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 15. I think it's your turn or mine?
You, because I finished.
Okay, let's go. At the end of every 7 years, you make a release of debts. And this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called a release of YaHuWaH. Of a foreigner, you could require it, but your hand is to release whatever is owed by your brother. Only there should be no poor among you, for YaHuWaH does greatly bless you in the land which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you to possess as an inheritance. Again, he's talking about blessings, material blessings in the land. He's going to give us blessings, spiritual blessings, most importantly in this land, in this body. Only if you diligently obey the voice of YaHuWaH your Elohim. So it's not the free lunch, They're not free lunch here. It's that we need to be obedient. We need to walk the way in order to receive the blessings from Abba. To guard to do all these commands which I command in you today. For YaHuWaH your Elohim shall bless you as he promised you. And you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they do not rule over you. The system of the beast ruling. We are being called kings and priests. We are being called to lead, to rule, together with Mashiach. We need to prepare our hearts for that. We need to take the lead. We were talking with few of you in this trip about leadership.
Yeah.
And if there's any brother listening to me now, this is going directly to us, men.
Yeah.
We need to take the position of leadership because we have been called by YaHuWaH to do that. And sometimes taking the lead is not an easy thing. It was so beautiful to listen in one of the discussions talking about leadership, but not in a spiritual way. And when I was listening and paying attention, I was feeling, it's Abba talking to me. And not only to me, this is a whole discussion about leadership related to the kingdom, to the spiritual realm. Is for us, brothers, to take the lead, not to refuse it. It has been in my prayer lately to tell Abba, I don't want to waste more time, Abba. You have been calling me for so long. Enough is enough. It's time to take the lead. Here I am. It should be your prayer, my brother. And for you, my sisters, you are being called to be co-leaders too, together with the man that is close to you. If you are alone and you are not with a man, you have the courage of Yahushua HaMashiach. And you need to take that co-leadership as well. But this is important for brothers to take the lead, because we see all the world upside down in this time, because they're not following the order of the kingdom of YaHuWaH, the design of the Creator. So if we want to see things happening now and to be able to rule later with Yahushua, it's time to learn. Now we are in the boot camp. We need to learn by living, by doing, not only by thinking. It's by thinking in the classroom, as we are doing it now, every Shabbat. But the most important is to learn by doing, on-the-job training.
Yeah, put in practice what
Putting in practice, day by day. Because we can have a diploma because we pass all the tests in theory.
Yeah, but what happened when you put the things that you have learned in practice?
We face, and this has been happening for all of us. We study something, we learn something, but when we go to the field, sometimes we face things that we were not prepared for, and we need to somehow understand how to apply what we learn to the real world. Now it's time that we need to put this in practice. We have been doing it. I'm not saying the opposite. I think all of us, we have been going through certain difficulties and in order to put in practice the word of YaHuWaH. But we need to do all. And leadership is an important aspect today. Men, you need to lead. You need to lead in the word of YaHuWaH. Ladies, you need to co-lead. Because all of us, we are going to rule the world together with Mashiach. We need to learn leadership in these times. When there is a poor man with you, one of your brothers, within any of the gates in your land, which YaHuWaH your Elohim is giving you, do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from your poor brother, for you shall certainly open your hand to him and certainly lend him enough for his need, whatever he needs. Be on guard lest there be a thought of Belial in your heart, again, evil spirit, messing up with us in our heart, in our mind, in our thoughts, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is near, and your eyes evil against your poor brother, and you give him nothing. And he shall cry out to YaHuWaH, using his voice crying out to YaHuWaH, telling him what's going on, and he's going to hear and he's going to answer.
And this is not just in the practical way. Imagine this, that maybe you're surrounded by people that they don't have knowledge about our Father.
Absolutely.
And we are there and we are just not sharing with them. Why? Because we usually think there is going to arrive one moment that He's going to open the way for them, but we didn't even share with them. And at this moment, they are hunger, they are facing needs.
And it's not only knowledge. Knowledge.
Yeah.
This is beautiful what you're saying. I just saw it. It's not only knowledge. Again, the two legs. It's the knowledge of the word and also the power of the Ruach. Again, using exactly the same example I just said, Peter and John, they didn't have a way to give them money, silver or gold, but they were having the desire on their heart to help,
and the compassion to help.
and the compassion to help the brother by doing what? By the word of YaHuWaH, by the power of the Ruach, providing healings. We are in so much need of healing in this time. Healing that is coming from the inside first, through the emotions, through the mind, and also being manifested in needs for healing in our physical bodies. So we can do it, physically with money in order to supply to their needs.
Food, maybe clothes.
But if we don't have the means, with knowledge, and we don't have all the knowledge, maybe with the Ruach of Elohim. So it's the point on how we are going to put in practice all of this. And again, what we were talking before, the greater path is not the individual one. Is the path to build up the assembly. And this chapter is especially for that. Is that we are helping our brother or sister in need. And as you said, it could be physical need, but also spiritual need, in order to grow all us together. That's
His desire is that nobody
greater
perish.
path. Yes. So, 11, because the poor one does not cease from the land. So what is part of the goal of the United Nations for the Agenda 2030 is to remove poverty from the world. And we see here in the word of YaHuWaH saying, because the poor one does not cease from the land. So why? Why he says that the poor will not cease? What do you think?
Because He wants us to see them and to help and to create in us that kind of behavior.
Social justice. It's exactly that. It's just to have the opportunity to do. To do His word, because this is exactly how it says in the next phrase in the verse 11. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, you shall certainly open your hand to your brother, to your poor, and to your needy one in your land. So He's allowing this to happen in order to create this environment and ecosystem of righteousness. So
now you have the
opportunity to open your hand, and it's exactly as we were saying, we are the most blessed of having the opportunity to share. So at the end, when you are serving, that's why Yahushua came as a servant. He was serving. He didn't even hesitate to take the towel and to wash the feet of the disciples. He came with that heart of servant, because when we serve is when we get more blessings, and not necessarily the material blessings, as I said. It could be, it's more important is the spiritual blessing. So blessed are those that are poor in the spirit. So poor in the physical world, but also poor in the spirit. They will be blessed. How they're going to be blessed? By the assembly. It's being led by the Ruach in order to provide knowledge, the Ruach, or to their needs. When your brother is sold to you, the 12th, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, and shall serve you 6 years, then let him go free from you in the 7th year. And when you send him away free from you, let him not go away empty-handed. You shall richly supply him from your flock and from your threshing floor, and from your winepress, with that which YaHuWaH has blessed you with. Give to him. I don't have silver nor gold. I will give you what I have. It's the same concept. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mizraim, and YaHuWaH your Elohim ransomed you. You know, this is a direct example. You should remember. So we should bring to our memories, we should see the picture of what happened in the past when I was slave. Not the suffering, not, it was a so beautiful land, I have plenty of food and so on. No, to bring that memory to the present time and remembering what YaHuWaH, how YaHuWaH ransomed me. How I was, just to take our example, how I was so lost in the world without having Elohim, and bring to memory and seeing it with the eyes of our spirit what he did, how he showed me his truth, how he gave me of his Ruach HaKodesh. So when we bring those things to memory, we are filling our set-apart place with Kodesh things, with what YaHuWaH is teaching us even in this passage. Therefore, I am commanding you this word today, and it shall be when he says to you, I do not go away from you, because he loves you and your house, because it is good for him with you. Then you shall take an awl and thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall be your servant forever. Do the same to your female servant. So, if we have the heart of the servant, and we tell YaHuWaH, I want to serve you, he's going to be doing even something more powerful and wonderful, or thrusting our ear to the door. He's going to put his name in our forehead. He's going to put his name within us as the sign that we are his servants. But in order for that to happen, we need to have the desire here in our heart, opening up, is to split in the heart, as we were talking. So he can go in and seal us with his name, showing that we are his servant, the servants of YaHuWaH, the children of Elohim. Let it not be hard in your eyes when you send him away free from you, for he has been worth a double higher servant in serving you for 6 years. And YaHuWaH your Elohim shall bless you in all that you do. Set apart to YaHuWaH your Elohim all the firstborn males that comes from your herd and your flock. Do not work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You and your household are to eat it before YaHuWaH your Elohim year by year in the place which YaHuWaH chooses. But when there is any defect in it, lame or blind, or has any evil defect, do not slaughter it to YaHuWaH your Elohim. Eat it within your gates. The unclean and the clean alike, as the gazelle and the deer. Only do not eat its blood. Put it on the ground like water. If we have any defect, we are not going to be accepted. I'm not talking about physical ones. The rich young man asked Mashiach how I can be perfect. And he, after instructing him on the commandments, he told him, sell everything you have and give it to the poor. Because Yahushua, with the discernment of the Ruach HaKodesh in him, saw that was the area that he was still clinging to the world, holding fast, and he didn't want to resign to that. So if we want to be perfect, the first thing is we need to keep the commandment. This is exactly the instruction that we have been reading in this portion. But if we want to be perfect, we need to do something else. We need to remove everything that is attaching us as a bondage, change to this world. We need to deny ourselves. We need to remove any idolatry from this land in order to serve YaHuWaH completely. If we do that, we are going to be perfect. And together with the restoration of this body and the transformation of this body, being born again in the spirit, is when we're going to be fully perfect. It's like the glass. We're going to be a complete new glass.
A new glass.
Okay? Let's go and finish the portion. Chapter 16.
Until it was the first.
17.
verse 17. Guard the month of Aviv and perform the Pesach to YaHuWaH your Elohim. For in the month of Aviv, YaHuWaH your Elohim brought you out of Mizraim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to YaHuWaH your Elohim from the flock and the herd, in the place where YaHuWaH chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mizraim in haste.
I need to, this is beautiful.
Yeah?
Just read the last one.
Oh, a ver, I record one. Thank you for your feedback. In Utah. Wow.
It's the first one.
You are the first.
Thank you.
person
Gracias, Jaime. Es una bendición.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias.
Beautiful. In
Sorry.
Utah.
Go ahead.
And I was here.
I don't know. Sorry, you can read it again.
Okay. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to YaHuWaH your Elohim from the flock and the herd, in the place where YaHuWaH chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mizraim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mizraim, all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen within you, in all your border for 7 days. Sorry. Neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates which YaHuWaH your Elohim gives you. But at the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell, there you slaughter the Pesach in the evening, at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time you came out of Mizraim. And you shall roast and eat it in the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses. In the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat unleavened bread. Oh, now I remember.
What?
Sorry, I was having this thought and I was like 3 days trying to remember and I couldn't.
Okay.
When we were talking about why we were discussing with some brothers and sisters that you and everybody, I think, has this same feeling when you want to pray. Usually you turn out the light, and it's not because we want to be in darkness, not at all. It's because we don't have like false light to be between YaHuWaH and between us. So and then we realize, and you were saying also, that's why the Kohen was lighting up the menorah, so having his light during the night. And then I was remember, there is one and only one specific moment that we are all the night with him, and it's during Pesach. So, and eating about that special sacrifice of a perfect lamb. And we don't have to leave anything to the other morning. So it's like that is a moment that is so different, and he's going to be with us. He's going to be our light. He's going to provide that special food. So I was thinking, I remember about that.
Good. So just to complement what Lillian said, I'm gonna invite you to test it out. This is what I do when I pray. I turn the lights off. Most of the time I turn off the Wi-Fi. Don't ask me why I began to do this from a long time ago. Now, with more understanding what the things that YaHuWaH has given to me, now I think I understand why, the reason behind. But test it out. If you're going to your place of prayer during the evening,
take your shoes off.
Actually, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Turn the light off. Turn the Wi-Fi off. Put the cell phone far away from you, and if you can put it in the
if you can turn
airplane mode and turn it off, do it. I cannot guarantee because it's been my experience, but it could be that you're gonna feel something different when you're praying. You're gonna be fully focused on the frequency that we have been talking about for a long time ago already, in the frequency of the Shemaim, you know, in the frequency, on the vibration of the voice of YaHuWaH through the Ruach of Elohim in us.
In that prayer, we should speak. So we can speak and hear.
Try it out, you know. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to see if this is true or not. Try it out.
And I forget where I was reading, sorry. Again.
You read about the 8, I think. That was the last one you read.
The
read.
8.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to the 9. Count 7 weeks for yourself. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the grain. And you shall perform the festival of Shavuot to YaHuWaH your Elohim, according to the voluntary offering from your hand, which you give as YaHuWaH your Elohim blesses you. And you shall rejoice before YaHuWaH your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow who are in your midst, at the place where YaHuWaH your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Mizraim, and you shall guard and do these laws. Perform the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after the ingathering, from the threshing floor and from your winepress. And you shall rejoice in your festival, you and your son and your daughter and your male servant and your female servant and the Levite, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates. For 7 days you shall celebrate to YaHuWaH your Elohim in the place which YaHuWaH chooses, because YaHuWaH your Elohim does bless you in all your increase and in all the works of your hand. And you shall be only rejoicing. Beautiful.
Only rejoicing.
Only rejoicing.
I want to get that point, you know, only rejoice.
3 times a year all your males appear before YaHuWaH your Elohim in the place which he chooses, at the festival of Matzot, at the festival of Shavuot, and at the festival of Sukkot. And none should appear before YaHuWaH empty-handed.
Empty-handed. What a beautiful moment, you know. We're enjoying the feast, but it's going to be so much different.
Everybody
with the
taking
same mind. Yeah.
And everybody's taking something that they can offer.
Yes.
Some gift, something that they have learned that can contribute to the edification of the assembly, of the rest.
It's going to be a big mess, by the way.
But,
so noisy. But, you know, most probably in one moment, you know, you just imagine silence. One mind, everybody praising YaHuWaH.
Or it's like when you hear the orchestra, they begin, everybody's tuning their own instrument, they're starting, but at one point, everybody is playing their own part. And everything together is so beautiful.
I love your example, you know, the director of the orchestra is YaHuWaH, you know, tuning in the instruments just to make sure that they are in the same tune and they're going to vibrate properly.
Yeah, at this moment we're making noise, but at some point he's going to bring us.
We are learning how to sound, you know, and striking the string of our hearts.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So,
should I finish?
I think you already finished, right?
Well, I don't know which is.
Yes, the 17. But each one of the gifts of his hand according to the blessing of YaHuWaH your Elohim, which he has given you.
Okay, you finished.
I finished it, you know, I finished it for you.
Yeah.
So, you know, something came to my mind, but I forgot now.
When we were talking about those orchestra.
No, it was before that. But, you know, I think after meeting Yaya, I think Yaya is still here, and
yeah, he's there.
And I saw. Thank you for answering me the text message. I can't explain this yet, but while thinking in something regarding the entire assembly, that's why I have been sharing this because it's in my heart, not to focus only because we need to focus in the building this house, you know, is to have the relationship with our but also we need to think in the entire assembly how to do something in order for the building that is written in the book of Corinthians for the entire assembly. I was thinking on that, and you asked me, why are you so quiet? What are you thinking? I didn't share it at the beginning, but it should be, you began to receive something, and when you mentioned something and immediately saw a picture of something in the past, it's like it's just opening my school like that.
Remember that?
And remember putting just a picture, and it's regarding the shoes. So in the same way that and you mentioned already, but in the same way that I told you to turn the lights off when you're praying, remove your shoes, try it out, and doing it as well.
And I think that a lot of people already do
Yeah.
that.
If you're not doing it, do it. I saw a message from the Greece when she's going to pray on the creek. It's a beautiful place over there. And if you're not doing it, remove your shoes, sister. I think you are gonna feel something even more.
And if she's in the water, wow, that's why maybe wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think YaHuWaH is doing something with us in these times, and with us, and not mean just the two of us, with all of
With
us.
everybody.
And we need to be so attentive. We need to open our ears to what He's showing us, and we need to apply it, even if sometimes we are not able to understand. How many situations we have read in the scriptures of the Nevi'im, the prophets, being led by YaHuWaH through the Ruach to do some crazy thing.
Yeah.
No, Camila, you need to go now, and you need to lay in your left side 40 days. And you need to stay there, Camila, dear Camila. You need to go 40 days. You're laying in the floor for 40 days.
Yeah. In the next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Corina, you need to go and to put a belt, and you need to get it into the actually it was the poopy of some animals, and also with the ¿cómo dice barro?
The clay.
And clay over there. That was the instruction that Ezekiel in the first one received from YaHuWaH, and the other one, the Jeremiah, that was instructed to take the belt and go in and to put it in the clay and in with the dirty things of the animals. So how come YaHuWaH is doing these kind of things? He's doing it. It's up to us to deny ourselves and to trust in Him. But in order to do that, we need to learn how to hear His voice, to recognize His voice. We're not going to learn everything at once. It's going to be little by little, little by little. So, and I think YaHuWaH is doing something in this time. It's preparing us for the last stand. And we are the one standing in this last time. As I said to some of you, YaHuWaH didn't choose Peter, John. He didn't decide for Eliyahu, Elisha, or even Moshe to be living in these times of the last days. He chose you, me, you, all of us.
And for sure, we have to put attention of every of them and to listen that all of them were telling us, we have YaHuWaH.
Yes.
He is the one leading. His voice.
He saw a capacity in us in order to be used in a mighty way. And I would say in a mightier way than His servants in the past. We have that capacity. He created us in that way. It's just for us only to believe, and He will do it. He will live to believe, and He will do it. We need to ask for faith. We need to pray for faith, for emunah. As our brother Ryan in Wichita said, emunah is not something that should be stronger. It's little or bigger. And he was all right, It can be in that way, but what the point he was making, emunah is for how long we are going to keep it. If it's going to last only for 1-2 minutes, or if it's going to last for days. This is exactly what happened with Peter. you know. He had, the emunah only for maybe 2 minutes. After he saw the waves, and the emunah disappeared. We need to hold fast to the emunah, so the emunah will help us for the ruach of Elohim to flow with the power that is coming from above. And YaHuWaH has chosen us because He knows us better than we knows us. That we have that capacity, that we have that heart. It's just a matter to tune in our hearts to the frequency of Abba in order for things to happen. Okay? That's it. Any final words from your side?
Just keep praying for the rest of the brothers and sisters if somebody's missing, and we have to ask for protection, for endurance, and for pray for one another. And we know that we have a lovely YaHuWaH, and sometimes through tribulation He's teaching us even more.
Absolutely. So we're keeping all of you in prayers. Pray for one another. Please also keep Fernando in your prayers. He's a beautiful person, was a messenger that YaHuWaH brought to our lives the first day of the last trip. And he's a faithful servant of Abba.
For the ones that are missing, Shirion, Annie was so higher. We are missing you, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
So please come back soon.
Yep. They will come back.
Yeah.
I know. So let's finish with a song. I have it over here. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope that the Ruach has been talking to you in the same way that He has been talking to us. And let me repeat myself. We are here in front of the camera is because YaHuWaH has decided us to put in front of the camera.
But
we are learning with you. Everything that we said and it's coming from our mouth is coming first to us.
There is no teacher. There's no leader. We are brothers and sisters.
We always need to remember that we are serving the Master, only one. Nobody has dominion and power over us or over you. Not a man, not a woman. We all belongs to one Master, one Adon, that's Yahushua HaMashiach, and through Him we belongs to Abba, to YaHuWaH. So everything we do, everything we say is just to share our experience and what YaHuWaH is putting in our heart with the same heart of a servant as we were reading here in the Word. Is with the idea to, through our experiences and through what we are learning, is just for you to take it. It's our contribution to the assembly somehow. But the one that is who's teaching us and leading us is only one. One teacher, one leader, and that's Yahushua HaMashiach.
And the only thing that you are going to answer the emails.
Right. Sorry for that. Yes, thank you for reminding me that. I have several emails that are still in depth for an answer. It was a very intensive 2 weeks driving, flying.
Before that, it was all the work.
All my work and so on. So I didn't have the chance to answer. But the idea is that we are going to be answering, and you're going to help me with that as well. One by one. So expect answers starting then tomorrow and next week. Okay. So thank you for being patient with me and for understanding. But we need to focus on what we needed to focus. Now is the focus to answer the questions. Okay. So thank you once again. YaHuWaH be with you all. See you next Shabbat. Enjoy the rest of Shabbat. Enjoy and have a blessed week. YaHuWaH be with you.
Be with you always.
Always. Shabbat Shalom. Bye.
Bye-bye.
הוא אשר לא חסך את בנו